What is up? We got some cards, man. We got some cards to look at here. Chat, I'm famous, man. I've made it. Actually made it. I'm on mythicspoiler.com. Sadly, I've had a few of these cards spoiled, but goddamn, some of them are good, huh? Some of them are decent. Some of them I don't really understand why they're good. Maybe not all of them are good though. I mean, another whiteboard clear, by the way. So now they have Doomscar, Wrath of God, Day of Judgment, Shatter the Sky, Settle the Wreckage, Cleansing Nova. You could actually just make a full board clear deck. Bobby McBob, thanks for 7 months, man. I don't like this. Is just not. That doesn't really matter though. That one, right? Krosan Grip. Split second. As long as a spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. Seems trash, no? I mean, it's pretty good against a card like Gate to the Afterlife, or whatever the hell it's called. These are coming to Arena. Yeah, most of these cards are going to be in Historic. Like, if it was a bit cheaper, it would be good against like Oven or Trail or something, right? Because you can, a lot of the time when you're removing these cards, they just respond by using their cat loop or whatever. But it's 3 mana, right? It's pretty good against a more expensive one. Maybe it's good though. Why is my camera flipped? Because I was playing chess and I forgot to unflip. Just seems too expensive, huh? This card I'm hyped about, Sign in Blood. I have a feeling mono black's just going to be crazy, right? Thoughtseize, Kozilek, Sign in Blood, and then Fatal Push, Castle, Haven, Snow Plain, Snow Swamps, and a bunch of good creatures. Seems good. This card, Abundant Harvest, this might be the best card in all of Historic. This little unassuming, cheeky little sorcery. Potentially the best card in the entire Historic format. It's completely insane, right? Choose land or non-land. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a card of the chosen kind. Put it into your hand, rest in the bottom of your library. Doubt? Why doubt? It's absolutely crazy, man. It lets you play a 56 card deck, dude. It lets you play a 56 card deck in an even better way than usual, right? Like, a lot of the times you play 56 card decks, it's because you're you're just drawing for cheap, right? But it's great in combo decks, it's great in aggro decks as well. It kind of makes every... it kind of turns like every card in your deck into like a tangled florahedron, basically, you know? It attaches a tap land to every card in your deck, basically. It's insane. How about Shock? Do you like it? I mean, we've used this card a lot, man. I think I've got like 24 copies of this card in my Arena account. So this...
I thought this was my
I'm not really sure.
Congrats on baby BTW Pog.
90s Paradigm, thanks for 12 months, man, and thank you very much. So, I'm not sure what the best way to use this card is, but I'm 100% certain if your deck has a forest, you play for this. I don't know if it's best in aggro or best in combo, but both aggro and combo will play for. I challenge anyone to tell me a deck with a forest in it where this is bad. And can anyone give me a single deck with green mana that doesn't play 4 of this? Jund. I mean, this might be at its best in Jund, man. Don't mind me. Just let me just fetch a second oven from my deck for 1 mana. Let me target my opponent's Mayhem Devil and get a Mayhem Devil from my deck. Or not target, but you know, let me choose the opponent's Mayhem Devil. Take 1 from my deck. What do you mean it isn't a tutor? It's essentially a tutor. No? Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a card of the chosen kind. What? I don't understand the card. How do I not understand the card? Choose a land or non-land. What? You just choose land or non-land. Okay, well in that case it's not as good, is it? I would like to reevaluate. I had this as the best card in Historic. It's no longer the best card in Historic. But the crazy thing is, I mean, maybe it still is though. It's just, I don't know, it's completely broken in my opinion. But yes, I'm not surprised it doesn't work the way that I thought it did. Because that would just be, not, I mean, it would be one of the best Magic cards ever. Well, I'm not shocked. I'm not, I'm not chocked. It's still good though, but it's still insane. I thought it was one of the best Magic cards of all time. You thought it was demonic consultation with no drawback. Well, I don't know what demonic consultation is, but let me check. Did you actually, you cannot even read that, man. It's like tiny. Who made this website? Name a card, remove the top 6 cards of your library from the game and reveal the next card to all players. What? Alright. That card makes no sense, but it seems shit. It seems shit. I'm sure I didn't read it correctly. But didn't it say you like exile the top 6 cards of your deck, and then if the next one is the card that you named, you get to draw it? This is terrible. It's terrible apart from in like self-mill decks, right? You keep exiling until you draw it. Well, again, terrible apart from in self-mill decks. But pretty good in self-mill decks. But guys, I'm not a Papega. I'm honestly a little bit sad that Abandoned Harvest doesn't work the way that I thought it did. It's such a cool card, right? Isn't Abundant Harvest banned in Historic anyway? No, we'll get to play this one, man. I think the banned cards are Lightning Bolt, Counter Spell, Swords to Plowshares, Channel, Dark Ritual, Demonic Tutor, and we do not know the 7th one, I believe, yet. We know that there's 7, but we don't know what the 7th one is. Alright, Urza's Rage. 3 mana instant. This spell can't be countered. Deals 3 damage to any target. If this spell was kicked, deals 10 damage to that permanent or player, and the damage can't be prevented. 9 mana to kick, by the way. Card just sucks. Weather the Storm. You gain 3 life with Storm. I'm not gonna lie, guys. This card is terrible. I know the Storm is good, but and I know that Storm decks can be good. But I'm personally of the opinion that if you're going to play a Storm deck, you want your Storm payoff to not be gain 3 life X times. You want your Storm payoff to be in some way I win, smile. Citadel decks? Yeah, but I don't think it matters in Citadel decks, right? Not most. All Citadel decks have ways already to not really care about their life total because they've already got ways to use those, right? So Weather the Storm in a Citadel deck kind of becomes nothing more than a dead draw if you draw it. I mean, it's fine if it's card number 40 in your deck and you've got your Citadel in play. It's whatever, right? But you can win with your Citadel deck. You don't need this to be card number 40, so it's nothing other than a negative, right? Because all that can actually happen is in the games that you draw into your hand, it's shit. Like the War Strider Citadel decks, they have infinite life anyway. Or not infinite, but they have enough life to always win. Which is really that's all that matters, right? We're getting Day of Judgment, so many Wraths. Yeah, I don't think this is relevant, right? We've already got... I mean, that's the third 4-mana Wrath that we have in white. There's also a few in black as well. Where is STA going to be legal? What is STA? This set? So this... Right, so these kind of like yellow art cards, these are part of the Mystical Archive, right? So all of these cards are either legal only in Historic or not legal at anywhere in Arena, right? So you've got these, I don't know how many there is right now. There's maybe like 30 there or something. There's going to be a total of 63. 56 of them. None of them will be legal in Standard, and apart from the ones that are just in it right now. Like Strategic Planning is in Standard, right? Shock is in Standard, whatever. But these are meant to be Historic cards. There's 63 of them. 7 of them will not actually be in Historic. And the 7 are Lightning Bolt, Channel, Counterspell, Swords to Plowshare, Dark Ritual, Demonic Tutor, and there's a 7th one that we don't know yet. But the other 56 will be legal in Historic. So any cards that we look at right now, apart from the 6 I just mentioned, will be legal in Historic only, not Standard. But you can also get these in the these will be in the Strixhaven draft as well. That's all of them, including like Channel and Lightning Bolt and Counterspell. Do we already know all 7 cards? No, we know 6 of the 7. I mean, guys, like, if this is the only Storm payoff, then I'm sure people will try Storm decks and they'll just use it, but there's got to be something better than gain life, right? Because that's... If you're going to be storming for gaining life, then you're just adding another card to your combo piece, right? Because then you need another card that deals damage once you gain life. Or turns that life gain into a win in some way. So that's just another layer to your combo. It's terrible. Growth Spiral finally got the correct rarity. I mean, honestly, Growth Spiral is a mythic card. IMO. Cultivate, yup. Dark Ritual. So this one will not be in Historic, but it will be in Draft. This is, what is it called? Inquisition of Kozilek or something? So now you have Thoughtseize and this. Seems good. For anyone who doesn't know what this card is, target player reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-land card from it, any non-land, with CMC 3 or less, and they discard. So now, not only will you have to play against 4 Thoughtseize, you'll have to play against 4 Thoughtseize and 2 or 3 of this, and maybe the other way around as well. So I'm absolutely hyped for Mono Black, which honestly I might play 4 copies of Kozilek, 4 copies of Thoughtseize, 4 copies of Sign in Blood, 4 copies of Faceless Haven, 16 Snow Swamps, 4 castles, and just the biggest chonky black creatures in the game, and just farm them. Whirlwind Denial. Pretty weird one to have. I feel like Whirlwind Denial is kinda like way below the power level of the other cards. It is a storm counter spell, yeah. True. Village Rites. Don't know how I feel about this Village Rites art. Like, at least the art part. Obviously the border is sick, just like the rest of the cards, but This is probably the second best Village Rites art in my opinion. It's better than the Kaldheim one, but worse than the original art. This is another Storm payoff. I mean, a lot better than the other one, but also a hell of a lot more expensive. This is a Storm payoff that doesn't need an additional piece, right? Like, you need, if you're going to play Weather the Storm, you need a card like Veto in your deck as well, right? But this, you cast your spells, then you cast this, GG's. Shuffle your library, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. The problem with Storm in Historic is, I'm not sure the Storm deck is playable. Like, you actually can't cast that many spells in a turn. Unless you're doing like kind of Paradox Engine type things, where you get infinite mana and infinite draw. But if you're doing that, you don't Mind's Desire is a waste of a slot in your deck, you know? Like, it's shit. So I don't really understand how we build a Storm deck in Historic. It's the problem with Storm in Historic is that every spell is essentially costs at least 1 mana, right? There's simply not enough spells that cost 0. And 1 is actually too expensive. I mean, the best card in a Storm deck is... it's just a 0 mana artifact with no text. Okay, but the only 0 mana cards we have in Historic are what? Mox Amber, Tormod's Crypt, Stonecoil Serpent, Ornithopter. You have the Foretell guy, yeah. He's a bit slow though, huh? I'm surprised that Ritual's banned. I mean, obviously this card is OP, but without it, it kind of makes all the Storm cards, like, pointless, right? I mean, if you're gonna ban the Dark Ritual, then just don't waste slots on these cards. But we'll see. Defiant Strike, yep. Putrefy. Destroy artifact or creature. Wow. That card is terrible. Okay, I saw this card last night on Twitter, and I must be reading this wrong, by the way. This card is absolutely batshit broken. Exile target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Okay. Would already be good. Rebound. If you cast this spell from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast this card from exile without paying its mana cost. Sorry, what? Instant speed, 2 flickers, 1 mana. I hope this is the last banned one. It could be, man. It does seem that good. But I think they would have said that already if it was, right? I cannot believe this card, guys. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, the rebound part, huh? It's no joke. What do we even want to flicker besides Pepega card draw? Apparition. Thraben Inspector. Stormcaller. Yep, Stormcaller sounds good. Dude, Stormcaller is gonna be. I'm calling. There's gonna be a Stormcaller, Arcanist. Like, I mean, I don't know that. These spells are just so powerful, man. What's Stormcaller? The blue 2-drop, right? That lets you copy a spell. Well, I don't know what the first word of the creature is. Seagate, yeah. I mean, that card's crazy, right? Like, Seagate Stormcaller is an insane card. We just don't really have enough spells for it yet to play it, but we should do now. There's like, if you want to play it with black, you've got Kozilek and Thoughtseize and Fatal Push, etc. now. And then in blue, you've got Opt, Brainstorm type shit. If you want to play it with Arcanist, you've got all the red spells as well. Grixis Arcanist coming through. You've also got Pyro in that deck too, right? Alright, chat. Here we have the worst card in Vintage Cube. Harmonize. How good in Historic is the worst card in Vintage Cube? Probably still pretty good. But also probably pretty bad. It's just a useless card, isn't it, really? It's just simply a useless card. Imagine looking at your green 4-mana slot, thinking, what can I put in my deck, and choosing this instead of Coco. Put both? True. Then you can use your Harmonize to draw your Coco. You can cast an 8-mana Coco. What the hell is this? Fairy's Protection. Until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you can have protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. That's a classic case of a magic card that's not worth a slot in your deck. Brainstorm. Alright, chat. I'm not gonna lie. I've got a declaration to make here. Brainstorm is a bad card. However, Brainstorm is a very playable card because you can manipulate your deck to make it good. I am not sure that we can manipulate our deck in Historic to make this good. What a baiter? It's not a bait, man. Like, you can't play this card in a deck unless you have ways to manipulate the top of your deck, right? It is unplayable. It's a useless card. But obviously, as soon as you have ways to do that, it becomes crazy, right? I don't think we have ways to do that, though. Yeah, Fatal Passage, of course, but I don't think I'm not sure Fatal Passage is enough ways, right? Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to say it's draw 3 cards, then yes, it's turn 1, draw 3, and turn 2 and 3 skip your draw step, which seems pretty awful. Isn't that just a better scry? Yeah, I mean, like, this is without ways to manipulate your deck, Brainstorm is a little bit better than Opt. But obviously, as soon as you start manipulating your deck, it's crazy, yes. But I mean, guys, there literally does not exist ways in Historic to manipulate your deck well. You have 4 Fable Passage. That's it. There are other options for manipulating your deck, but they're all bad, so you don't want to play them. How is the 1 mana green spell broken and this is bad? I didn't say it's bad, man. I said it's not. It's not crazy. It's just a slightly upgraded Opt in Historic, man. I mean, Opt is shit. Like, guys, as soon as another like fetch land or I don't know, some shuffle attached to an actual good card. Yeah, maybe. But I mean, guys, like even with Fabled Passage, like Fabled Passage doesn't even interact well with Brainstorm at all. Because you make Brainstorm cost 2 mana if you use it with Fabled Passage. Because your Fabled Passage is bringing in a tap land. You just turn this into a 2 mana card, and at 2 mana it's awful, right? Still okay on turn 2? Okay, awful is a harsh word. It's, I mean, I don't even know if that's even okay, man. This card doesn't deserve this much time? I think it does. I think it's a very interesting one. I'm mega wrong on this one. I don't know why. Why do you think I'm wrong, man? Like the card will see play. It's nowhere near as good in Historic as it is in any other format it gets played in, and it's fine, right? It's a slightly better Opt than Historic. What the hell's so wrong about that? It's great in the late game. We need to find the next gas. That Opt is also better on turn 10 than it is on turn 1, man. But you still play the card because you can cast it on turn 1 as well. The card, like, obviously this card is not dog shit, guys. Clearly it's not dog shit. But it is not. It is not going to be a corner piece of Historic. It's just a fucking another random blue cantrip card in Historic. Yes, if there is a Stormwing entity deck, this will be in it. Obviously. If there is a Seagate Stormcaller deck, this will be in it. Obviously. But as I keep saying, it would just be a slightly upgraded replacement for Opt. Maybe you play it alongside Opt. I'm not sure. Depends what the rest of the deck is, but if we ever get fetch lands, for example, or other etc. cards, then sure, this instantly becomes one of the best cards in the format. Maybe the best one, right? But we don't have those. You've got to come to terms with that. Until we have those, it is a slightly upgraded Opt. Memory Lapse. Okay. Someone please explain this card to me. Counter target spell. If this spell is countered this way, put it on top of its owner's library instead of into that player's graveyard. Can someone please explain why we have an Aether Gust that can target all colours? This card's completely insane, no? What am I missing here? This is just the best counter spell in Historic, right? By far? I mean, is it so good that it's now the only counter spell in Historic? Isn't this card instant speed 2-mana Nexus, essentially. You don't get to draw a card off of your Nexus. Okay, that's fine. So, that's true. For a 5-mana discount, we give up a card. I'll take it. I'll take it. So can anyone think of a blue deck that wants to play counter spells that would choose a different counter spell over this? Like, I really need... Like, this is insane with Tithe, of course. This is insane in tempo decks, mono blue, rogues, spirits, maybe, I don't know. Whatever ends up being the best one. Nissa Piles will love this card. What else? Nissa, untap a land, hold this fucking clown card up. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Teferi do the same? Well, Nissa, I think Nissa is better with this card than Tef is. Like, this card secures your Nissa attacking for 9. It's absolutely bonkers. Are you pissed about how red cards are getting treated in the archives yet? Not really, man. I've come to terms with the fact that red will always be the worst colour from this moment on. And it's not Wizards' fault, it's player base's fault. At least we've still got black and green. I mean, is this the best card that we've got? It's up there, right? Maybe this one's the best? Potentially? It's gotta be those two, right? Kozilek, Ephemerate maybe. Memory Lapse. It's crazy, dude. Brainstorm in the right circumstances. Guys, I cannot believe how good this card is. I mean, this is the type of card that completely changes the format. Because you absolutely give a massive power spike to all of the Tef and Nissa decks. Like, a huge spike. Sees no play in Pauper? Is this a common card? This is not a common, guys. What the fuck? It's a common. Alright. That's classic. Classic Magic the Gathering. Alright, what we got here? 5-mana Mythic Black spell. Okay, I'm gonna guess either weird Reanimate spell or just boring board clear. Yeah. Infuriate. Primal Command. Target player gains 7 life. Or choose 2. 5-mana sorcery, 7 life. This one's on Vintage Cube, right? This card's so bad. The actual worst card in Cube? Maybe. I mean, the saving grace for this card is that the 4 modes are all chosen in very different board states, right? So it is going to be a rare situation where this card does nothing. But even when it does something, it's just this type of thing is never worth 5 mana. I don't see anyone playing this, guys. It's just too durdly, man. Thrill of Possibility, yep. Electrolyze. 2 damage to up to 2 targets, draw a card. Do you guys like this? I don't think it's that good. I don't like. I don't really see. Is it decks wanting to play this card? It's too expensive, right? You have other options. Like if you're gonna play an Is It deck, don't you want to? You want to play cards like Sprite Dragon, Arcanist, maybe. The 3/3 flyer that gets cheaper. Soul Scar Mage, maybe. And all of those creatures want you to play cheaper spells. And I don't really see it in a deck with a third color. Like, you're not going to play it in a Teamer deck. I mean, a Grixis deck would pretty much be the same as Is It, right? You've got... There's no way you're playing Grixis with this when you can play Grixis with Thoughtseize, Kozilek, Fatal Push, fucking Brainstorm, you know? Jeskai. I don't know. I just don't see where you ever want this, right? It's bad. Stone Rain, Mana Tithe, Tendrils of Agony. Alright, anyone want to go Llanowar Elves into Stone Rain? That seems good. I don't know, guys. I actually... isn't this card bad? Let's... Really. I know it's cool, okay? I also think it's cool, but... Seriously, isn't it, like, not good enough? Like, how do you build a deck? What? So if you have 4 Stone Rains in your deck, what the fuck are your other 56 cards? I've got no idea. Like, do you literally just play this? Gruul creatures and 4 Stone Rain? Is that the deck you play? Looks like Modern Ponza? Yeah, but I don't know what Modern Ponza is, man. That's what I'm asking. Like, the Stone Rain is an... Is it an aggro card? It seems like it's an aggro card, right? Mid-range? Dude, mid-range is... I don't know, man. What the hell? What does mid-range even mean? Mid-range can mean anything from fucking Gruul that tops out at Questing Beast to Sultai with Krasis. That's just more specific than that. It's an aggro mid-range card, yeah, that's what I would say. But I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. Stone Rain will be one of the first cards we try. But I don't know if I'm a believer, guys. I don't know, man. I don't know. I need more convincing. I can see the Llanowar Elf into Stone Rain into play a 4-drop thing. Obviously, I can see that. But my issue with Stone Rain is if we don't have Llanowar Elf, is our card, is Stone Rain unplayable? I don't think we can cast it on turn 3, guys. I think it's cast it on turn 2 or never cast it. And even then, is it also like... Even if you have a Llanowar Elf and this and your 2 lands, it's bad. Is that even good on the draw? I don't know. But you give up your turn 1 and turn 2 to essentially be on the play for the rest of the game moving forward. Yeah, you kind of give up turn 3 too a little bit. Well, I guess you're on the play from turn 4 forward because they're still on the play for turn 3. It's pretty weird. So it's also kind of weird that you're... So this type of card is best against a deck that doesn't run a lot of lands, right? So that they miss a land drop at some point, but then it's also the tempo disadvantage from casting this is at its greatest against that type of deck though, too. It's weird. Turn 3 you can copy it. Bruv, I don't give a fuck about your Disneyland shit, man. I honestly do not give a slightest fuck. Land destruction is not going to be competitive. Well, of course a land destruction deck is bad. What I'm trying to work out is, do you just take Historic Gruul, cut 4 cards and add 4 Stone Rain? That could be good, but I'm not sure. Mana frickin' Tithe. Oh baby, that is hot. That is hot. Alright, this is my top 3. In my top 3 favourite cards from Vintage Cube. Does anyone know the other 2? The other 2 are Land Tax and Gitaxian Probe. Mana Tithe, sadly, it's number 3 of the top 3, but it's still number 3. It's still top 3. This card is absolutely crazy, bruv. I do like the Armageddon cards too, yeah. I mean, guys, this card is broken. Absolutely broken. These are historic only. So good, man. Mana Tithe. I'm so happy about Mana Tithe. I can't tell you. I love all these boomers complaining about these cards. This shit's gas. I'm hyped to do powerful stuff. Me too, Genki, man. Me too. Big time. Big time. Honestly, guys, the best part about this Mana Tithe is that there are so many. There's so many like white creature based decks that are like close to being good, but they just don't have enough 1-drops. I mean, you just play 4 Mana Tithe, and you've got your deck is suddenly all kinds of playable. All kinds of playable. Okay. Now, chat. This card's trash. No Tendrils of Agony Storm deck will be good. In Historic. There is not enough ways to make enough mana. There's not enough ways to cast enough spells. There's not enough cheap spells to cast. The way that you can do that is to play like some weird Song of Creation deck or some weird Paradox Engine deck. Both of those decks do not need a Storm card. It's just a waste of a slot in your deck. Dog shit. Don't at me. Dog shit. Although, it is the type of card that's always like just hiding in the corner, you know? It's just waiting to break loose. You're saying this before the new cards have been spoiled. You don't know what's going to be in it. Okay, man, if Strixhaven has Black Lotus and fucking Yawgmoth's Will, then Tendrils of Agony will be good. I'm going to lean towards the side of those 2 cards will not be in the fucking set, dumbass. Therefore, I stand by my initial assessment. There will not be a Storm deck. Underworld Breach, yeah, but you still have the same problem, man. You don't have the mana. Card draw is not the issue. Underworld Breach is just a efficient card draw spell at the end of the day, right? It's like, but you're the card draw ain't the issue. Mana generation and cost of the cards. The cheap cards in Historic cost 1. The cheap cards in Tendrils of Agony decks cost 0. You cannot play the deck. It's impossible. Playing Mox Amber over and over again is a thing. Yes, that is the type of thing that's possible, of course. But they already have ways to win, right? Those type of decks. This is just an alternative way to win. It's not adding anything to the deck. It's the same with Bolas's Citadel deck, guys. Like, in fact, this card is actively bad in Bolas's Citadel decks, as what I explained earlier, because Bolas's Citadel decks already win when they play Citadel. And they win. They win with cards that they can use if they draw them. This card you can't cast it if you draw it. So that this card makes your Bolas's Citadel deck worse. There will be a lot of decks where this is just exactly the same as your other choice of win condition, right? Like maybe in a Song of Creation deck or a Paradox Engine deck or something, this is just exactly the same as an alternative. But in a Citadel deck, it's actively worse than the other options. You need cards that cost 0, man. Tendrils of Agony is just a bad cat oven. Big true.
With Twitch chat on a daily basis.
Large true. But everything in Magic is a bad cat oven. Both from a gameplay perspective and from a power level perspective. Yellow Watt, thanks for 17 months, man. Alright, Yellow Watt, what are you most hyped about? What's the #1 hype card? Alright, Gab, earlier I made the statement that Brainstorm is a slightly better opt in Historic. Is that true, or am I an idiot? Like, you don't have ways to shuffle your deck, right? Slightly better opt. But really it is, man. Like, it's slightly better opt on the turn. Well, it's a much better opt on the turn that you cast it, but it makes your next 2 turns worse than opt does. Kind of. Well, I guess it's the same. Stitcher's Supplier. Passage? Is it even that good with Passage? Because Passage makes your... Passage essentially makes it cost 2, right? Because your Passage is bringing in a tap land. It's not terrible with Passage, of course it's fine, but like Passage is like nowhere near as good as the normal fetch lands, right? When it comes to using it with Brainstorm, but it's still better than not having a fetch land, of course, because you cast your Brainstorm, you play your Passage, you crack it, and your basics coming in tapped. So it's just it makes it cost 2 mana. But yes, Brainstorm, very good. I just don't think it's crazy in Historic, man. Which is probably for the best. I mean, it's kind of weird card, man. You don't really want it to be crazy. You did a search for Shuffle and Mill and found 20 cards that are playable. Alright, let's have a look. I mean, my opinion is entirely based on there not being a lot. If there is a lot, then obviously. I did say that earlier. If there's enough ways to shuffle, then sure, it's good. Alright, Gift of Estates. If an opponent controls more lands than you, search your library for up to 3 planes, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. I mean, that it's no land tax, but it is cool. 2 mana, draw 3. I don't know, doesn't this card suck? Because you can't even cast it on turn 2, dude. Because you need to play your second land to cast it. And then your opponent does not control more lands than you. It seems shit. I would I would love to have land tax in Historic. The earliest time you can cast this is turn 3, right? And you cast it, and then you make your third land drop, and then you've got a 1 mana left. But then you can hold up mana Tithe, chat. Don't be a hater. I'm not being a hater. I just think it's bad, man. This is the white card I'm all about. Mana friggin' Tithe. This card's also absolutely insane. Alright, chat, I'm going to give you the cards that I'm high on. Or at least the ones that aren't banned. Abundant Harvest. Sign in Blood. Obviously, Blue Sun Zenith is the best card in the set, and I would never dispute that. Kozilek is gas. Ephemerate is gas. Memory Lapse, Brainstorm. And Mana Tithe. Those are the bombs. IMO. Maybe Stone Rain. But I don't have massively high hopes for Stone Rain. No Electrolyze. I mean, this card just seems like a... I don't know. This card's like outscaled now, right? There's better things to be doing for 1/3 of the mana. It's a good value card. I mean, it's 2021, man. Value doesn't mean anything anymore. Every single card is a good value card. But like value is not an upside of a card anymore. It's literally a basic principle of every card. Chaos Warp. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, they put it onto the battlefield. Excuse me. Jesus Christ. It's hay fever season, guys. There's hay. There's literally hay in this room. It's giving me fever. Owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, they put it onto the battlefield. What? Is this a combo card? Looks like it. Well, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just it seems shit to me. I have a serious problem, guys. These cards are so hype that I don't really care about normal Strixhaven cards anymore.